Dan, I think I heard the doorbell ring, Dan.
Oh, wait.
Did you? Who's here? Hold on. Is it Governor Raimondo's? Did we let her in? Oh, look who's here. Governor Raimondo's in the house.
Good morning, Gene.
You picked this song, Governor.
I did. I like it.
Yeah, I gave you a choice. Do the Hustle by Dan McCoy. You passed that? Do the Hustle? I can see a politician passing on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, are you here to tell me you're taking care of business, Governor?
You got that right every day.
Yes. Now, where are you going to be a little later? You're going to Quonset?
I am going to Quonset this afternoon.
What are you going to tell us over there?
So there's a new study coming out from Bryant University,
Yep.
which it's exciting. You know, the report shows that Rhode Island's manufacturing economy is alive and well and growing, and Quonset supports over 21,000 jobs. 10,000 people who work there,
Right.
and then another 11,000 who are, related to it. So it's a great thing.
You want to say that, I guess, well, we've been all distracted by other things, that Quonset now has 21,000 people working over there.
It's a good point. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, kind of while we've been talking about other things, we've
Right.
been steadily just working this. I've launched a couple of job training programs with Electric Boat. They're the ones really driving the growth, thousands of employees. And you work, and here you go. We now have tens of thousands of jobs.
All right, so apart from the report, you're going to get down there and tell us, oh, and by the way, Ford Motor Company is opening a plant. On the anything like that
No,
coming?
not today. Although, a couple weeks ago, I announced a company called Finlay's, which is a tea company,
Right.
is opening a new operation in Quonset. And that was competitive, Gene. They
Yeah.
weren't going to come here, and my team and I convinced them to come here. So, every day we hear news like
I
that.
have heard of that tea. Is that, what, are they a foreign company?
No,
Finlay's?
it's actually owned by the same people that now own Autocrat. So they have
okay.
the coffee syrup.
Yeah, the coffee syrup people.
So that's how we found out about it. They had a Rhode Island connection, and then we just aggressively went after them.
All right. I know you listen to my show. Do you know the birdies fly in here from time to time?
Sure, yes.
They come out. In fact, I left the window open. Oh, look at this. The birdies are here to say hello to you, Delvin.
Hello,
She's
good
out.
morning,
You're out. You're
birdies.
looking. You're
I'm
looking at
looking
the
in the
window.
window. You never know.
The lead birdie is named Buddy. And he flies by your office up there sometimes.
Oh, yeah?
And he gives me little tips, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Now, hold on.
So what's he telling you today?
Hold on, let me hear. Come here. Buddy, what is it? Oh, all right, I'll ask her. Buddy the Birdie says he's hearing that you're very interested in going with a female head for the state police, possibly former Major Pinch, who now runs a town in South County. Is she on your short list?
She is not. We did reach out to her, but she says she's busy and committed doing what she's doing. I don't have a view, male, female, African-American, white. I just want the best person for the job I can find.
Now, that's interesting that you said that. You want the best person for the job, all right? So what's all this stuff about it's time to have a female president? We just want the best person for the job.
Right, and in this case, that happens to be a female.
But you know what I'm saying. That Hillary's, it's time for a female. It's time for a female. They said that about you. It's time for the best person, isn't it? Would you agree with that?
100%.
Right.
100%. Absolutely. I mean, like I said, in this case, I think Hillary is clearly the most qualified best person.
Yeah.
But no, you shouldn't vote for somebody just because they're a woman or just because they share your ethnic background.
Yeah. So you did reach out to Major Pinch?
We did.
Why?
Oh, she was exceptional. She was in the command staff. She has an amazing reputation. Loved the state police. Qualified, I
Yes.
think. But she's busy, and I respect that.
Yeah.
It's a big job. It's a 100-hour-a-week job.
Did you reach out to anybody else out of state?
Not yet. We're just getting going. The colonel's last day was Friday, so we will, but I haven't yet.
Now, Major, what is it, who's soon to be Colonel Barry, will be running things on an interim basis. He should not be concerned that you're reaching out, because he wants the job, right?
Right. He wants the job, and he'll be considered, and he's well qualified. But, you got to look at a lot like anything for an important job. Look at a number of folks, interview someone, and pick the best person who's committed, who loves Rhode Island, who has a great track record.
All right. So we talked about Quonset. We talked about the 38 studios. The birdies have flown in. Just one quick question.
You want to shut the window?
Well, they want to stick around. They want to fly back to the State House with any news you might make over here. The 610 connector. Last time we were in, we talked about that. You want to just just replace it the way it is. No elaborate plans for boulevards in the Champs-Élysées, nothing like that, right?
Well,
the Champs-Élysées.
The Champs-Élysées. It's not so much what I want; it's the reality of what I have. So I I have to keep it safe.
Yeah.
You know, my number one job as the governor is to keep people safe. And the most recent reports that I've seen for one of the bridges, the Huntington Avenue Bridge, I got to take action. I would love to have the luxury of sitting around and looking at all kinds of wonderful new designs. And that sounds good, and I wish I could, but I'm the governor, and I got a job to do, and I think I got to take action to keep people safe. So that means rebuild it.
Right. Without getting into the whole roadworks thing, I don't want to re-argue that, but the truckers have said, your critics in the trucking industry have said, if it's so dangerous, why doesn't she keep trucks off the 610 connector? What do you say?
We would do that if we thought we had to, you know, and one of the things I directed is quarterly inspections. So normally we do it annually, but now we're doing it quarterly. And if we get to a point where we think that that's the safest thing to do, we will do that, but we don't think it's that bad yet.
You're not there. All right. 438-9776. You call and you talk right to the governor. 438-9776. Just one more question from me before we go to the phones. When I had you here last, you said, yes, I'm going to seriously think about petitioning the courts to release the 38 Studios records. And I said, oh, really? When are you going to do that? Oh, the next couple of weeks. Now, you were here, I think, 6 weeks ago. Do you have a report back on that?
I don't, but I am interested to do that, and I'm trying to figure out how to do that as the governor, not the attorney general, because I think the documents should be released. You know, once the civil case is over and we're getting close, I see no reason to keep them, disclosed.
Right. So
not disclosed.
There's been no progress on that. You haven't petitioned yet.
Not yet, no. And I wouldn't until after this civil case is over.
The last potential civil case?
This case right now. So we have one defendant left, First Southwest.
Yeah, right.
We could settle. We could go to trial. It's going to wrap up fairly soon. And then I don't see any reason to wait. And I'd like to see everything disclosed. It's wrapped up in the grand jury. And so I'd like to see if, as the governor, I have the standing to go to the court and ask them to do that.
But you want to wait until the last civil case?
Yes, until this is concluded.
Is that, and separate from telling the state police to release their notes, you also want to wait on that?
Well, it's the same thing. I mean, the issue is all of this information was gathered in a grand jury process, so we don't have the ability to release it until the court gives us an ability to, and that's why we'd have to go petition the court.
All right, let's go to the phones. Kathy is calling in from Portsmouth with a question about the state police and diversity. Good morning, Kathy. You're on with Governor Raimondo.
Good morning, Gina, and good morning to you, Governor Raimondo.
Hi, Kathy.
I have to tell you, there is a very uneasy feeling out here regarding this state police appointment. My sense is that there's an attempt being made to make a statement regarding the type of person you'd select for this job. We don't want to see the state police being used that way. It's the one organization in this state that functions beautifully, and we need it because we are drowning in drugs. And nothing has been done on the state level to curtail or to take a real to make a real effort to do something about what's happening in all of our communities with the spread of drugs.
Kathy, I've got to hold it there, but the governor's going to answer your question. She doesn't want you to, she's saying, don't make this a question of diversity. Just put the best person in, and maybe you have that here, whether he's a white male or not.
Yeah, look, Kathy, I agree with you. There's certainly no political statement being made here. We are going to find someone who will continue the state police, which, as you say, is extremely well run, and you have my word on that. We'll take it even to the next level to continue on what the Colonel O'Donnell has built. I hear you loud and clear on drugs. The heroin problem in Rhode Island is probably the biggest public health crisis we have. It extends over into abuse of prescription drugs. It's been a huge effort that I've made since being governor. We are seeing a little progress on reductions in overdose deaths and reductions in overdose, but not nearly enough. So we're doing everything we can, and I hear you loud and clear.
All right, let's go to Dave is in Rumford. He has a question on pension fund performance. Losing $500 million. Now, you were the treasurer. This guy, Ted Seidel, a blogger from Forbes, he is bitten in your leg and will not let go. He blames you for a lot of the way the pension is going, the hedge funds, the losses. First of all, qualify your view of what the truth is, and then respond to Dave. Will ask his question, but go ahead.
About the pension,
yeah.
Look, I had to make some very difficult decisions. The pension system I inherited was very underfunded, and I did what I thought was right. So when I left, as treasurer, the system was in the healthiest shape that it's been in decades. And, I'm proud of the work that we did.
All right, hold on. Go ahead, Dave. You're on with Governor Raimondo. Follow up.
Okay. Well, I guess the question would be when you left, but recently, to Gene's point, the assets are down $500 million. Massachusetts performed at a 1.8% annual return. Rhode Island is negative. And I guess the bigger question is there a pay-to-play question because the hedge fund managers gave money to your campaign and they've underperformed?
All right, hold it there. Quick. Go ahead, Governor.
Yeah, thank you for that question, Dave. Just to clarify, hedge fund managers didn't give money to my campaign because I put in place a policy as treasurer that they were not allowed to. And in fact, I was the first treasurer to make all potential hedge funds and private equity funds sign a pledge, an investor pledge, that they did not give me money and would not give me money, precisely so you'd have confidence that there is no pay to play. And I assume
Wall Street gave you money.
no one that we invested with. I had a clear, bright line policy, and we made them sign an affidavit to the fact that they did not support my campaign for the exact reason that you say.
So is that just a misnomer out there, a myth that continues to surround you, that you're a darling of Wall Street?
I think so. It's a funny thing. I never worked on Wall Street. I set up my company in Providence. I was a successful business person. I invested in companies, created a lot of jobs in the process. But it was important to me, so that's why I set up this pledge, because if you want to support my campaign, fine, but then you aren't going to get an investment from the state pension fund.
All right. With regard to the pensions, you're saying when I left it was healthy. You stand by your idea to push money into hedge funds. Do you also stand by the real estate portfolio? Because that's taking a bath.
I haven't studied it recently, but I was just with the treasurer the other day, and they're looking at it right now. It's hard to invest money today. The markets are up and down, so they're doing an asset study as we speak, and I think they probably will make some adjustments, which is a good thing. That's what you have to do. The one thing I will say, Gene, is don't just look at the return. If you want the highest return possible, you could just put your money in the most risky stock you could find, and you would get a terrific return. But the risk is unbelievable, and when the market turns, you lose all your money. So the name of the game in pensions is a steady return and try to avoid the ups and the downs.
No, but we've had horrendous losses. Hundreds of millions of dollars, and this stuff is making news. This guy, Ted Seidel, basically lays the blame at your feet. I know that you're not the treasurer anymore, but he says the hedge fund money was too risky, we're paying fees are too high, the real estate investments were awful, and now look, the chickens are coming home to roost. In fact, I'm looking at an ad today. Did you see this morning? I know you read the paper early. Rhode Island Retired Teachers Association presents Ted Seidel final report on real estate and the health of the retirement system. This guy is going to blast you again today. Go ahead and respond.
Yeah, he does not have very much credibility. The reason he came after me is he was hired by the public sector labor unions. So his client was the public sector labor unions.
I want to be Lester Holt. He was criticizing you before they hired him. But you're right. They didn't hire him.
They hired him.
After he was blogging about you, yes.
And he actually makes a living. Most of his clients are public sector unions. So, I do think you have to look at the source. He has an agenda. But I would say let's just keep our eye on what our job is. Make sure the pension fund is well funded. Make sure the returns are there. If there are changes to be made, we should make them. But the facts are that pension system is so much healthier because of the work that I did as treasurer. And that's a good thing.
Yeah, even with the hundreds of millions in losses that are occurring under this new treasurer?
He has to look at that. I haven't looked at those real estate investments, but the current treasurer needs to look at it, and if he thinks he should make changes, he should. But you can't look at it at a point in time. That's the other thing. At any particular point in time, you've got to look at this over 10, 15, 20 years. And if the 10, 15-year return is 7%, then we're doing our job. That's what it's supposed to be.
A little chilly out there today, Governor, isn't it?
It is. Feels good, though.
Did you have the kids in a little light jacket when they left this
morning?
morning?
Yeah, my son wore a little sweater and shorts, though.
Sweater and shorts?
Yeah. They're not giving up on the shorts, so I said, all right, just put a sweater on.
47 in Providence, 50 in Newport. All right, let's go back to the phones. Now, we only have a half hour with the Governor, so let's keep the questions real tight, concise, so we can go through a lightning round. Scott's in Narragansett. Good morning, Scott. You're on with Governor Raimondo.
Good morning, Governor. How are you?
Hey, Scott. How are you? Must be cold in Narragansett.
It's warming up. Warm it up. Hey, Governor, I was excited to be at the inauguration of Dr. Megan Hughes a short time ago, and listening to her vision and talking in particular about raising completion rates for students at the college. I'm wondering, what are you going to do to help her, and how are you going to bring more funds, in particular, to the Community College of Rhode Island?
Great question. She's terrific. She's a new leader, has a lot of energy. In fact, I spent 3 hours with her on Friday. We had a retreat for higher ed. So there's a lot we need to do. One of the things we're trying to do right now is to have a master schedule, so it's easier for students to get into the classes they want more quickly. Huge problem we have right now at CCRI is it takes people, 4 years to get a 2-year degree because they can't get into the classes they want. So we're trying to figure that out. We're also looking into online education. Most people that go to CCRI work, have 1 or 2 jobs. They might be parents. So we need to provide classes nights, weekends, or, from home, online. But everything we're doing is designed to increase that graduation rate because it's only now about 10 or 11%. And we're just letting these kids down. They pay tuition and they're not getting enough. So, we're working as hard as we can.
You had a big week last week with education, things like that. Now, Paul is in Providence with a tricky question. How do you justify bringing in refugees? These are Syrians. Go ahead, Paul. Quick question for the governor.
Yeah, good morning, Ms. Governor. That's a good question because I heard it myself on this radio show this morning. You said the number one job of you is to protect the people, and you were saying that in reference to a road. And I'm wondering, how can you possibly claim that when you want to bring in refugees, Muslim refugees, when you don't support fixed borders, we have a broken border.
Just give the question.
We have a heroin epidemic as well. So we're not safe.
All right, okay. He's giving voice to this notion that I know you support bringing in a certain amount of Syrian refugees. Now, last night on 60 Minutes, even the King of Jordan said he's cut the border off, and ISIS has infiltrated those camps. We don't know who the good guys and the bad guys are. You've heard this before. Yeah. Do you still support bringing in some of these refugees? I do. Right now, the refugees go through the strictest vetting of anyone. It takes years for them to be fully vetted before they come in. And I have to say, I've spent time with some of the refugees over at Dorcas Place. These are not terrorists. These are families. These are moms and dads desperate to escape a war-torn country. And Rhode Island's a place of tolerance and love, and we ought to welcome people in. Not dangerous people. I stand by what I said. I will keep the people of Rhode Island safe. We do our own vetting, and if we think that anyone is a danger, then they won't be let in. But if these are human beings, we ought to do our fair share. Donald Trump says extreme vetting. It sounds like you're okay with extreme vetting. Now, I don't want to say you're okay with Trump, but extreme vetting, that doesn't sound like a bad idea to me. Yeah, totally thorough vetting. I don't want to be on record as agreeing with anything with Mr. Trump because I don't know what he means by extreme vetting, and he's shown himself to be fairly racist as it relates to these matters. But yeah, absolutely. Thorough vetting to keep people safe. All right, quick question. Ann's in Cranston. Good morning, Ann. Go ahead. Quick question for the governor.
Yes, one of the things that she ran on was investigating 38 studios, and then she reneged on that, and now she doesn't want to release.
Ask her a question. She's here.
Well, what happened to it?
All right.
Yeah, good question. So, since I've been governor, the state police has done an investigation, and I have released, or I asked the court to release 10,000 documents from the civil lawsuit. If I think that, if any new information comes to light and I think we need to do yet another investigation, then I'll do that. But right now, I don't have any reason to believe that another investigation is going to reveal anything we don't already know. And these investigations cost $1 million, $2 million, and I'm just not convinced that the value would be there. But I do feel soon we should release all the documents and ask the court to release the grand jury documents because people want to know. It doesn't feel right, doesn't smell right, and I support that.
You said when you were doing the primary, when you were running for governor, you said I support an independent investigation.
Yes.
That's not Rhode Island's Attorney General. That's not Rhode Island State Police. That's an independent person, and that's what they think you flip-flopped on that.
No, look, I understand that. I do understand that. But now that I'm in the seat, and now that I'm the governor, and we've looked at all the civil trial and the civil information and the state police investigation, I'm just not sure there's any value, and I can't justify spending so much money for just another study that's not going to get us anything else.
I think what you just said, now that I'm in the seat, really clarifies a lot of things that politicians say. And I don't mean this in a critical way. You say something when you're running, but when you're in the seat and when you're faced with the problems, you do something completely different. So shouldn't we look at both candidates running with a jaundiced eye? Maybe Donald Trump will be different when he's in the seat.
I don't think so. I think, no. I'm not sure even where to begin.
Here?
Yeah, exactly. So much to respond to. Look, I think that's what you want in a leader. You want a leader who's not just stuck in their views, but they review all the possible information and at the time make the best decision for the people. And I think that's what you're supposed to do as a leader.
All right, Governor, pick a number here. Go ahead, you pick a call. Can you see them?
Sure. How about
pick one?
You pick one. How about Ed from Providence?
Ed from Providence. Good morning, Ed. You're on line 4 with Governor Raimondo.
Hi, Governor. Hi, Gene.
Good morning.
Hey, my question. I don't watch how Rhode Island runs the lottery. I want the laws changed where people can remain anonymous and make the winnings tax exempt. The reason I'm saying this, we have such a large border area, such a small state, that people from Connecticut and Rhode Island would cross the border if they knew they could win and not have to pay the taxes. The state wouldn't be losing that much money because since I've been here in 2000, there's been, 4 or 5 winners.
So this is what happens. Let the governor pick the question. Are you following this?
No.
He wants you. No.
Sit.
We'll toss
Repeat
that
it.
one. So, Ed, you want the governor? Do you want people to allow their winnings to be anonymous when they collect? Is that what he was saying?
That's what he was saying, yes.
Yeah. Think about that on the drive home tonight. I'll pick the next one. Let's go to Tony's in Pawtucket. Tony, go ahead. You want the governor to clarify Wall Street?
Yes, I would like the governor. I would say thank you to the governor for coming on, and thank you to Gene for having me on. I want to say, Gene, people on this station you yourself have been saying that the governor has taken money from Wall Street. She just clarified it today on your show. She said she didn't take money from Wall Street, but from people that she was dealing with. Okay, you never once said, that you were wrong for making this statement or asking the question of this statement. When you didn't even have the facts, just like
no, that's not the case, Tony. The governor did accept donations from Wall Street. She's saying that she specifically now you did not accept donations from hedge funds that the state was invested in. Is that fair, Governor?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Or any firm,
Right.
hedge funds, private equity, because I didn't want there to be a perception of pay to play.
Right.
So if the pension system gave you money, then you can't donate to my campaign.
Today you distinguished between Wall Street and the specific hedge funds.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. Tony, thank you for calling and fact-checking me. What is this?
Yeah,
The
I like
debate's
that
over here?
question. You could pick all the questions,
Yeah, I'll
Gene.
pick the next one. Let's go to Joanne in Cranston. This is going to be the last one for the governor. It's 8:30. We promised she'd be out in a half hour. Good morning, Joanne. Go ahead.
Thank you, Governor, for being on. I have 2 pension questions, if I may. The first one, you specifically mentioned Ted Siddell and said that the unions were supporting him in the most recent report that he made. I'm not sure if you're aware, but retirees paid for that report, and retirees are not part of a union. So I would like you to clarify what you said. And my second question is, when will the state pay the annual required contribution, because it's not being paid, and that's making the pension lose money?
Okay.
Great question. Thank you for asking that. The state does pay its full ARC and always has. The state pays 100% of the ARC, which is called the annual required contribution. It's the amount of money the actuary says the state has to put into the fund, and we do pay it, and we always have paid it for I think maybe there were 1 or 2 years during the banking crisis years ago, but apart from that, the state's made 100% of its payment every year for decades.
All right.
Which is the way it should be. I mean, people deserve their pensions to be there, and the state's supposed to do that, and I'm proud that we have.
On Ted Seidel, he's a blogger. He was was critical of you. The unions did, in fact, hire him for an investigation, and subsequent, he's done crowd-funded investigations. That's the one they're going to announce today, paid for by the retirees. Okay, I am running late. Bill Habman, just hang on with me, Bill Habman. I want to squeeze one more question. Governor, there's been a lot of arguing over Kennedy Plaza. There are 2 plans out. I think you should step in and straighten things out. Are you in agreement with that?
Yes. In fact, I have. In fact, I've said I've asked my team at Department of Transportation to expedite the removal of Kennedy Plaza and to give me a plan which would show us how we can do that. It's dangerous. It is dangerous the way it is now, and we have to get it out of there quickly.
All right. Is there anything you wanted to come in and just get in? Because, you said there were a couple points you wanted to make before you leave. I know you're running.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to be here. I love getting the questions. It's a good way for me to talk to Rhode Island, and I'm headed to Quonset. It's a good story. 21,000 jobs.
All right, very good. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Gene.
See you next month.